Hello everyone, Matej here again. So last time, or one of the in previous videos, we spoke about how important is decision. You know how this decision affects your body, your mood, your biology, your pretty much everything in our lives, or your lives, or my life, whatever. You know, depends who's making a decision. You know, just don't make sure that somebody else is not making a decision for you. You know, because you never know what they're having in plan for you. You know, so for that reason, the best way is to make a decision for yourself. Okay, so I gave you two stories. So after this decision that we make, or that you make, that I make, right, comes the belief. Okay, and this belief is a component that helps or prevents you, depends whether you believe or you don't believe, things to coming into fruition, right? So the things come and happen in our life is because we have a belief, right? And again, another story, right, from me. And I'm gonna just explain you why this is so important. So when I was playing soccer around 18, 20 years old, something like that, I think I was, or maybe even older, I don't know, it doesn't matter, right? So we were playing European qualifications for European Cups, right? And at that time, I was facing with the situation, which at that time I had a girlfriend, and she came to me with, I think we need a week off, you know, to think about it. I said, okay, no problem. With me, everything is okay, right? That's who I am. So you come here, I don't want to be with you anymore. No problem, easy. Okay, so I said okay. I took of course at that time I was thinking, you know, and what is happening, blah blah blah. And at the same time, I'm a person who wants to confront things. So whatever happens to me, I want to resolve them as soon as possible. Okay, and then at the same time, I had situations in a club where they were bullying or whatever, you know, and I didn't like it, or I don't like it. And I said, okay, look. And at the same time, I got sick. Means really sick, where my livers got swollen, my spleen got swollen, you know, so everything pretty much I got the doctor. He told me, you got probably mononucleosis, you know, and that's it, you know. He did some tests. Yeah, you know, this is confirmed. I said, okay, no problem. After 1 week, you know, still everything okay. I was healed because I was taking some antibiotics. And after these antibiotics, you know, I returned to training, I believe in 1 week, something like that. First training, I drank water. Straight away, I knew something's wrong. I came home, sore throat, again, same thing. You know, and I came to the doctor again, and I said, how it's possible? You know, the same thing. Because I knew you cannot get the same disease twice. Because why? Because your body already have they have already some components in your body which fights with this disease, you know. So it's impossible. Maybe I'm wrong, you know. Maybe some doctors can correct me. And I said, okay, but what's the situation, you know? And he said, you're just lucky. And this is why I don't believe doctors, you know. Whatever they said, I always seek another option. And then I went to specialists. I said, this was on my own, you know. So I said, okay, I want to go to specialist. And this came the turn, you know. And I said, okay, you tell me what it is, you know, because I was told there is this. And then this was the first time I was tested for everything. I was tested for HIV, hepatitis, from A to Z, whatever, everything, every single thing. I said, how is that possible? HIV, I only got one sexual partner, you know, at that time. So impossible, you know. And he said, no, everything is negative, blah, blah, blah. You know, And I said, yeah, but what is the disease then? And then he said, it's not mononucleosis. And I said, okay. And he said, it can last up to 6 months, can be up to 1 year, maybe even more. And I said, at that time, I was laughing because all I know was playing soccer, and I never wanted to be off, because my parents, I always saw them, that they were working all the time. My mom, dad never took sick leave unless my father had a back pain, such a back pain that he couldn't walk, then yeah. But mom, I never saw her taking day off or sick leave. And then I said, look, let's make a deal. I'm gonna be okay in 14 days. And he was laughing, and I was serious. I said, look, let's make a deal. Of course, I was laughing. I'm gonna be back in 14 days. What do you think happened? I was back in 14 days. Why? Because I believed it. Because first thing is, I decided, right? Because he said, oh yeah, we don't know how long it's gonna take, right? Can take 6 months, can take 3 months, can take 1 year, can take more. And I was so fed up of this. I didn't want to go on. I didn't want to continue. And this is what's important. When you decide, when you are fed up, when you have enough, then you change, right? And I did. I changed, and I said, you know what? I decided, right? Because I was fed up. I decided, let's say 14 days, and we handshake. And he was laughing and said, okay, if you say 14 days, but I'm just telling you, because of course doctors needs to tell you, how long it can take. And I said, okay, we will see, and after 14 days, I was back on training. I was okay. And like nothing happened, so that's why I'm telling you how important it is that we have this belief, whatever we say, that we have this belief. The most important thing is our belief, right? If you believe in what you're saying, what you're deciding, right? You're gonna have the results you want, right? If you don't believe, and if you keep dreaming or keep thinking about it, it will happen when you have the belief. Because along the way, you're gonna have the experiences. And after those experiences, your belief is either gonna grow or it's gonna deteriorate, right? Because if it grows, the things will start happening faster for you. If it deteriorates, right? If you say, oh, you know what? I know this story, probably it's not gonna happen. Then you start believing again that it's not gonna happen, and when you believe that it's not happening, it's never gonna happen for you. That's why majority of patients who said, doctor said to them, oh, you only have 1 month, or you cannot walk anymore, or you whatever, right? When they believe it, they accept it. This is what's happening, right? And I know so many things, so many cases, right? When it's even for me, for example, when people who were another story, right? Who were actually looking for donor for one person who had, I think, a bone marrow transplant, right? And was very rare, everything, They said, we've been across the whole Australia, right? And we couldn't find anyone. And at that time, I did know a bit about what I'm talking about now, right? And I asked them, okay, but how many people? And how many people did you test? Did you check? Did you, Yeah, we spoke with about 10,000 people. We tried, we came across 10,000, something like that, 100,000 maybe. I don't know. 100,000 is way more. And I said, and you gave up. And it's more than 20 million people here in Australia. or there in Australia, right? I said, that's not even, what, 1%, 2%, right? 0.5%? What are we talking about? You didn't even try everything and you're giving up. This is because people don't believe. And because people don't believe, because it's easier to not believe, because then you have an excuse and say, oh yeah, you know what? It just didn't happen. I was unlucky. It's not that you're unlucky. It's so many cases when people were done whatever, right? I just told you 2 stories now. And I can tell you a million stories like that. Million stories. It's just about you and your belief. As soon as you believe what you're saying, it's gonna happen. And faster and stronger your belief is, faster these things are gonna happen to you. That's all. Another story, okay, just quick, is when I heard first time, okay, Matej, you have to decide for one thing. I said, okay. At that time, my daughter, okay, which I adopted later, she was coming to my partner and mine bedroom every single night. Okay, and I said, I'm not sleeping, Matej, you have to decide. That's what I was told. And I said, how? I decide for somebody else, for something like that. Yeah, you have to decide. And I said, okay. I tried it because I am that naive, okay? I mean, naive. I try everything, right? Because I want to know. I want to have my experience. And I tried it. It didn't work first time. It didn't work second time. After 1 week, she was sleeping. She was sleeping in her bed. She wasn't coming back in our bed anymore. And I said, man, this works, this works. Of course, I didn't have any baggage, So for me now, when somebody says to me, oh yeah, but how is that possible? Blah, 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 these things are happening so fast. Because I don't have these bad experiences when I decided something and didn't happen. I don't remember. Do you understand? And this is how vitally important it is that we have this belief. And that's why, when I talk to people, I always say, look, I might be wrong. Always. I can tell you how many times I was wrong in the last 5 years. And I can probably count it on fingers in one hand. Right? And it's not because I did something wrong or, it's just because of the situations or circumstances that happened and I knew how they could happen. So it's my belief. So I saw pattern, I saw situations and how they're happening, and now I know the end result. So that's why it's important to have the belief, right? So you decide for one thing and then you believe. You need to believe. If you don't believe, then don't decide for anything, right? The same thing is when you give. Let's finish with that. Okay? Enjoy, have a good day, and whatever you decide, believe. Believe, believe, believe.